National Association of Youth and Students for Peace, Pilipinas. A global family of young people building a world of peace with true love.
If this is your first time visiting on our channel, make sure to hit subscribe and please turn on the notification bell to be notified for the upcoming videos.
I'm grateful that you're here. I'm thankful for the students that are here with us, especially for the leaders from the NYC and the YSP that have made this program possible. Let's begin so that we don't waste time. Our topic is about good character. Youth of character for nation building. So I asked myself, what is good character? I think that's an important question. And ask any young person, what is good character, and what will they answer? Let me Google it. So I did. I Googled it. And this was the top answer on Google. In general, people who are considered to have good character often have traits of integrity, honesty, courage, loyalty, fortitude, and other important virtues that promote good behavior. Well, we got our answer, but I was a little bit confused because they've listed 5 here and they said there's even more. I mean, we could have gratitude, we could have cheerfulness, perseverance. I mean, how many characters should we have and add to this list? So let me give you some homework and I'll pick it up at the end of the presentation. I want each of you to write down one word that describes good character that's not on the list that I showed you before, not one of the 5 that was mentioned earlier. Make a note, write it down. We're going to come back to this at the end of the presentation. Okay. So I thought, okay, it's not so clear, but let's go back to that presentation again. And in this definition, the word good is used twice. Good character and good behavior. So I thought, well, if I want clarity, I should look up the word good. What does it mean to be good? So dictionary.com, go to the internet. And I looked up the word good, and this is the beginning. There are 34 definitions of good. And it didn't stop there. It added a few more, 50 definitions of good. And it didn't stop there, 57 definitions of what it meant to be good. Oh my gosh. I wanted clarification and simplicity so that I can have focus and conviction. And now, well, I'm not sure. So let us do something. Let's ask a question instead of what is goodness. What is the principle of goodness? And in that, there should be clarity because there should only be one principle. For example, architecture. If you have the principles of architecture, they're the same wherever you are, then you can build many different buildings. If you have the principle of civil engineering, then you can wire and create electrical things infinitely. If you have the principle of civil engineering, you can build bridges and skyscrapers and roads and whatever you need. If you have the principle of aerodynamics, you can fly in whatever kind of plane you want. So I don't want just the different planes. I want to know the principle of aerodynamics. What is the principle of goodness? And in this point, I like to look at Sir Isaac Newton. He was a genius. And he didn't invent gravity. It was already there. God invented gravity. But he simply explained it so that everyone could understand the principle of gravity. And in this, I believe that the person who describes the most simplest, most complete explanation of what it means to be good is Father Moon. So he too is a genius. So what are the principles? There are two fundamental principles in the universe. One of them is the principle of goodness. And we call that the dual purpose principle of mind and body. We will explain. And the second is the pair system principle, the principle of true love, the relationship between man and woman. And we need both. But our focus will be first on the principle of goodness. What is the essence of goodness? Well, the mind and body, it's vertical. We call it the pillar. And that's the most important, because when you build a building, if you want it strong, then you have to have the pillars straight. They have to be vertical, not 89 or 90, 89 or 91. They have to be straight and strong. So we'll explain this in more detail. The pillar, the mind and body relationship. It goes like this. The individual, the mind and body are aligned correctly, then the individual lives more for the family than for him or herself. Okay? And the family lives more for the community. They also live for themselves, but also they pay taxes and follow the laws. And the community lives for the sake of the nation, and the nation for the sake of the world. And ultimately, of course, the highest of all is God. This is like a ladder. It's a vertical relationship. What is the first step? That's important. Where is the paradigm or the model that we will follow? And that's the parent-child relationship. And we will explain it a little bit more. This is our first step in building goodness. So we have the pillar, the mind and body relationship, and then we have the beam, husband and wife. The most powerful love in the world is between man and woman. And so we have to be careful how we use that. We need the conditions and parameters of goodness in order to apply to love to make it true love. Because there's true love and false love. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? That needs no explanation. So if you have the pillars and beams, then what do you have? You have the basic structure. And you can put the windows and the doors wherever you want. And you can use the building for many different functions. It can be an apartment building. It can be a supermarket. It can be a court of law, a school, a shopping center. But there's one thing you cannot change. And those are the principles that are there. The pillars and beams cannot change. You can change the curtains and the carpets, but you cannot change the pillars and beams. These are the universal principles. There are two of them. One, a dual purpose principle of mind and body. And second, the pair system principle of husband and wife. And together, these are found and incorporated in the smallest unit of society called the family. That's why the family is so important. If the pillars and beams are strong, your building will be strong. If you remove the pillars and beams, then the building will implode. The same thing with my character. If I don't have the pillars and beams in my character will implode. If they're not in my family will implode. Society, nation, it doesn't matter. They're fundamental principles that are needed in every aspect of society. So the question I think that everybody should be thinking in their mind is, why does the dual purpose principle define goodness? Why? Why is that the best definition? Well, let's look more closely to find out why. The dual purpose principle. We have two purposes, the purpose of the mind and the purpose of the body. They're different. They're both necessary. They're both good. But more important is the priority of mind over body. Why is the mind given the higher priority? And that's even the way we were created. When God created us, He put the mind up and the body down. That vertical tradition is unique to human beings. So let's look at it. The mind has a unique purpose. What is the purpose of the mind? Well, what are the functions that are within this area of the mind? I see and you see. I hear and you hear. And we talk and we smell the flowers and we taste. The 5 functions are all located in the area of the head area because they're so closely connected to the mind. So this means The purpose of the mind is for public interaction, listening, talking, seeing, tasting. Let's go to Coffee Project, Starbucks. Okay, McDonald's, Jollibee. I'm not sure. Let's go out and have some fun together. The mind is the internal nature, and it is invisible, but it needs to take a subject position to the body so the priority is aligned correctly. The body is the external form. It is visible. So again, we need both. They're both necessary, but the priority is more important than either one. The mind should be up, and our public interaction is through the mind. That's why we don't cover it when we hear. And the body should be down. It's private, self-maintenance, my digestion, my breathing, my heart, all of these functions that allow me to exist and to maintain myself are here in the body. So if we get it wrong, what happens? Oh man, if the body dominates the mind, we call it selfishness. And that means the private, I just care about myself. What I eat is most important. I don't care about other people. And I put other people down and I just put myself up. And that's called selfishness. We all know that. So Father Moon's definition of goodness is live for the sake of others. More than for yourself. Live for the sake of others. Let's see if it is universal in the Bible. Whoever seeks to gain his life will lose it. Selfishness. You want to gain. Take. I just want my own life. You will lose it. Selfishness will kill you spiritually. It goes on to say, whoever loses his life will preserve it. Wow, that's the dichotomy. We oftentimes think I need to take in order to survive, but spiritually speaking, we need to give to survive. And that living for the sake of others. Another verse in the Bible. Do nothing from selfishness or conceit, but in humility count others better than yourself. Why? If I count others better than myself, then if I'm genuine to that, I'm counting other people, but then I will give naturally. Parents want their children to be better than them, and they give. And teachers want the students to be better than them, so they invest and they give. Selfishness and conceit is exactly the opposite. I don't give. You give to me. I'm not going to give to you. And in the Christian context, the one image that portrays this living for the sake of others most clearly is our Lord Jesus Christ. Father, forgive them. Even he was beaten, persecuted, misunderstood, judged, crucified, and he still did not hold resentment. And here in the Philippines, you have a martyr. The founder, Jose Rizal. He expressed his love for the Philippines through his novels, essays, and articles rather than through the use of force or violence. Let me serve and give to my nation. And it's not only in Christianity, it's in Islam also. In the Quran, do not expect in giving any increase for yourself. Give without expectation. That's Father Moon's concept right there. Live for the sake of others. And in the Quran, Allah does not love those who are arrogant and boastful, selfish-centered people. Allah doesn't love them. Wow. And it's not only in these two religions. In Buddhism, cut the love of yourself. Stop loving yourself so much. And then you will develop the path to peace. Why? If I love myself, I won't find peace? Yes, that is correct. If you love yourself so much that you don't care for other people, then you won't give to other people. You won't build relationships. There will be no loving relationships that are established. In Confucianism, to nourish the mind, nothing better, make your desires few. You want a healthy mind? Don't be selfish. Selfishness is unhealthy for your mind and emotions, even for your body. Hinduism, sacrifice performed by those who desire no reward. I will sacrifice, and I desire no reward. The founder of this nation, this is the nature of goodness. And this nation was built on that principle. So this is important now because we have found a common principle of goodness. And we've found it in every religion. You do not need to change your religion to be good. Whoa! Let me repeat. You do not need to change your religion to be good. Just unite your mind and body. You don't need to change because this principle is already in every religion. And it's more than in just our religious texts. In psychology, Sigmund Freud is the father of psychoanalysis. His concept, delay gratification. Don't be so selfish. Don't do something for the gratification. Delay it. He called it impulse control, an important component of emotional intelligence and maturity. Robert Beulah and the other authors wrote this book, The Good Society. So it's not only in psychology, it is in sociology. The most profound decisions about justice are not made by individuals as such, but by individuals thinking, read it with me, on behalf of institutions. So the individual thinks on his own behalf, no justice. The child thinks of himself only? No, should think of the family. And the family think of themselves only? No, the community. And the community think of itself only? No, the nation. Wow, then we can build good individuals, good families, good communities, and good nations with this principle. And it's not only in psychology and sociology, it is in civil rights. Martin Luther King, the civil rights leader in America, life's most persistent and urgent question is, read it with me, what are you doing for others? Not what are you doing for yourself? Mother Teresa. I met Mother Teresa in India, actually. Another story. Give, but give until it hurts. Don't give just because it's convenient. When you go to the church and make your offering, do you take the coins out of your pocket or the bills out of your wallet? Ouch. Yeah, it should hurt. Father Moon's definition of goodness is universal, and it applies in all areas of life. Live for the sake of others. So I have a question now. Live for the sake of others. Well, my question is, who is the first other? Where's the paradigm? Where's the model? And if we get that right, then the others can naturally follow. So who is the first person that we should live for the sake of? The answer is important, and it's simple. Our parents. They are the ones that have sacrificed the most for us. They gave us life. They nurtured and cared for us. They never asked for rent. Do you have a CC camera by the refrigerator, and if you take something, your parents are going to charge you? Oh, no. If you're hungry, just please take. So this is important. Living for the sake of my parents. This is the model, the paradigm, the first step, the institution where we learn this principle. Children live for the sake of their parents. That's called filial piety. That's called mind and body priority, where the mind, the public side of the child, is strengthened, and they live for the sake of the parents and naturally for the sake of the family. It's called good character. And that's the title of this presentation. Remember? Youth for nation building, youth of character. Now you know what it means. This is the North Star. It's our conscience. You cannot be watched all the time with a CC camera. Your parents can't be with you all the time. But your love for your parents and family should be in your heart all the time. And if you're in doubt, your friends say smoke, and you, well, should I smoke? Should I not smoke? Just close your eyes and ask yourself, will this make my parents happy or proud of me? Your friends may ask you to take drugs. Close your eyes and ask, will this make my parents proud of me? Having sex before you get married. Close your eyes. Will this make my parents happy? Can I go home and be proud? Daddy, today I learned to smoke. I learned how to inject. Oh, I had sex even though I'm not married. No child could report like that to their parents. You get a good grade on a report card, you want to report. But you get a bad grade, you want to hide the report card. So let's go back to this. The mind and body in the right relationship is good character, creates filial piety within children in the family. When we live for the sake of the community, it creates good citizenship. People who live for the sake of the nation are loyal patriots. Not only the soldier on the battlefield with a weapon who is willing to kill or be killed for the sake of the country. Yes, he's a patriot. But everybody should be a patriot. How about the businessmen when they make wealth? How about the religious leaders when they teach this principle from the pulpit or in the mosque? Wow. How about everyone should become a patriot, live for the sake of their nation? And army people too, of course. But everyone should be a patriot. And then we all need to be holy saints, Saint Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, these people that lived beyond the national borders. And then we can become sons and daughters of our God. This model is scalable. The principle that we say live for the sake of others applies. It means live for the greater good. And that applies in every level of society. So I have now a vaccine for you. It's called a good character vaccine. And you can inject it. And we don't have to get it from America or China or anywhere, or Russia or anywhere else. We can just have it right here in the Philippines. What is that vaccine? Honor your parents. That's what it says in the Bible, in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. The Bible doesn't say love your parents, because love is just a feeling. I love my parents. Yes, I love my parents. Finished. I don't need to worry about that commandment. No. Honor your parents. There is respect, but there's also action required. What should you do to honor your parents? My suggestion: talk to them. Talk to them and listen to them and have communication with your parents wherever you are. We have the internet. There's no excuse anymore. You can call your parents wherever you are. If they're in America and you're in the Philippines, or they're in China or Thailand or wherever, you can call and talk to them once a week. Call your parents. And if you're with them in your family, then talk to them. Turn off the cell phone for half an hour, 1 hour, and talk to your parents. Invite them out for dinner. Oh, that would be new. Dad, Mom, let's go to Jollibee. Find a table in the corner where nobody is speaking, or Pizza Hut or whatever. The same principle is in the Quran. Worship Allah alone. Yes. And do good unto your parents and the near of kin. And it's in Confucianism. Filial piety is the root of goodness. This is the vaccine for good character. Keep your parents in your heart. Live for the sake of others. So we've talked about living for the sake of others. That's the pillar. Let's now talk about the second principle, the pair system principle. Relationship between men and women. Everything, literally everything. The word is ubiquitous. Look it up. Ubiquitous. It means everything, without exception, has a masculine and feminine nature to it. Let's start with the atomic world. We have protons and electrons, the plus and the minus. And then science students will raise their hand. Yes, Dr. Kittel, but what about the neutron? I've had that question asked. Here's my answer. Yes, there is a neutron, but the neutron has the weight of the proton plus a little bit more and no charge. So it means that the proton and the electron combine together to make the neutron. It means the proton and the electron got married. And it is the neutron that gives stability to the atom. What does marriage do for our society? It gives stability to society. Interesting. The plant world. And if you look, it looks like there are different sizes, shapes, colors, scent or smell, and texture. Yes, but close your eyes and look, and you know that every flower has a stamen and a pistil, 2 parts, so that it can reproduce in fruit and seed. Amazing. Amazing. All right, let's go up to the next level in the animal world. Every animal, 2 parts, masculine and feminine. Man, the sea lions, the penguins, the herons, the ducks, everybody has a pair system so that they can reproduce and the species can exist. Even ladybugs. I can't tell the difference between a male and a female ladybug, but they can. And what about our human society? Male in the West and female, and here in the Philippines and in Asia. Everything is created in pairs. So my question is, since this pair system comes together, and the relationship when they come together, here's an important question. Who will teach us the purpose of human sexuality? It's not just like animals who have sex, and they have sex for pleasure and procreation, and we do that too, yes. But there's something unique and special that the animals don't have, that we do. Who will teach us to this? I believe we can go to our holy scriptures and find the answer. In Genesis 1:27, when God first mentions the concept of man and woman, this is at the very beginning. This is his plan, his blueprint, his model, his principle. Oh. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. This concept is a very powerful concept. When people tried to live this concept, they had to eliminate slavery in America because of this Bible verse. If I'm in the image of God and a black man is in the image of God, then our color difference doesn't matter. And why is he the slave and I'm the owner? If we're both in the image of God, then slavery should not exist. That is where this came from, honestly speaking. But this is only the first part of this verse. Let's read the second part and find a meaning that, honestly speaking, has not been yet fully understood in Christianity. Male and female, he created them. Whoa, now wait a minute. First he mentions man, and now he specifically mentions male and female, man and woman. So here's my question as I read this. From my studies, I go, wow, are we created in the image of God individually, which has been the traditional interpretation, or in the image of God together as man and woman? Because that Bible verse seems to indicate, well, they could both be true. Well, which is it? Both. Wow. Both. That means we have these 2 fundamental principles that we've talked about. The mind and body. If my mind and body are aligned correctly, then I am in the image of God individually. And that powerful concept changed really social relationships around the world. And we missed actually the most important part. Man and woman together are in the image of God in a bigger way, a more powerful way. And that's the purpose of this relationship. Animals can't do that. Animals come together, they have sex, they reproduce, but they're not in the image of God, individually nor collectively. Wow. So if we, as a nation, a Philippine nation, which is dominantly Christian, understood the second part of this Bible verse, 127, male and female he created them, then we can start to change the relationship between men and women and also amplify the importance of marriage. Man and woman together are also supposed to be in the image of God. How many gods are there? One. How many husbands? One. How many wives? One. And then you have one lineage connecting to God. That was God's ideal. The Bible goes on to say, it was not good that man should be alone. Wow. Everything God created was good. Look at the Genesis 1, day 1 to 6. It's all good. But then now it says, if man's alone, if there's no woman, it's not good. Because the principle is violated. The principle of this pair system is violated. I will make him a helper. Men, be careful. Your future wife will be your helper. What does it mean? Sweep the floor? Wash the dishes? Do the laundry? No! It does not say unpaid servant. It says helper. Help man be man, because man cannot be fully man without woman. I cannot be a husband without a wife. I cannot be a father without a mother. Pope Francis said the same thing. The image of God is the married couple, the man and the woman. Not only the man, not only the woman, both of them together. He goes on to say, when a man and a woman celebrate the sacrament of matrimony, God, as it were, is mirrored in them. This is God's design from the very beginning in Genesis chapter 1. Wake up! Philippines! It's also in the Quran. Everything we have created in pairs, that you will receive instructions. Everything. And the Quran says, He, Allah, created spouses for you and planted affection and mercy between you. We create political institutions, educational institutions, financial institutions. We did not create the institution of marriage. God did. Allah. Mother Moon and Father Moon are teaching this. It's central to their ministry. We marry in order to resemble God. Animals don't do this. God exists as a being of dual characteristics. We saw that. Husband and wife together reflect God's original image. So, this principle, the dual purpose principle, mind and body, summed up in 6 words: live for the sake of others. And now you apply that principle to the love between a man and a woman, and you also get 6 words. But let's change one letter, change the I, and make it a 0. So I don't have myself. No, I live for the sake of others. I don't exist in one sense. I live for the sake of my parents. It's called filial piety. Change the I and make it a 0. Change one letter. Love. for the sake of others. That's true love. So in order to have true love, you have to have the essence of goodness in your character. Wow. Father Moon talks about 4 realms of love or heart: parental, conjugal, sibling, and children's love. Let's look at them and see how it works. Parents live for the sake of their children. And children live for the sake of their parents. And 2 loves are created: the parental love and the children's love. Brothers, live for the sake of your sister. If you are not married, you should not be having sex because you're not married. Don't get education from the internet. Read your holy scriptures. Ask your religious leaders. Talk to your parents. And if sisters live for the sake of the brothers, same thing. You have, in your childhood years, you are preparing to be an adult. Learn self-control and discipline. When they do this, it's called siblings love, brother and sister love. Husband, live for the sake of the wife. Wife, live for the sake of the husband. And they call it conjugal love. 4 loves based on the principle of goodness. Every religion that honors goodness also honors the institution of marriage. It's not by chance. They go together. So let's start to draw a conclusion here. And I looked at the Philippine Constitution. And I looked at Article 15, the family. Section 1. The state recognizes the Filipino family as the foundation of the nation. Really? This is amazing. I don't know any other constitution in the world. Accordingly, the state, shall strengthen its solidarity, the family, and actively promote its total development. That's why we're having this program. Section 2, marriage as an inviolable social institution is the foundation of the family and shall be protected by the state. So what have we learned from the Philippine Constitution? Well, let's look. Wow. Number 1, the family is the foundation of the nation. That's what it said. It's a quote. And number 2, marriage is the foundation of the family. Well, then there's one more question. What is the foundation for marriage? And we just answered that. What is the foundation for marriage? Live for the sake of others. Be good. To have good character means to be a patriot. And that's what it's in the Philippines. Let's go back to the Philippine Constitution. It's so clear. There are 6 times that the word patriotism or patriotic is mentioned in the Constitution. Let's look at them. Number 1, if you are a patriot, you are involved in public and civic affairs. You're public-minded. You're not private, just only doing what you want to do. And even if you do public things, it's for the public good. There will be private benefit, but the ultimate purpose is for the public. A patriot will promote liberation and development. A patriot will serve with utmost responsibility and loyalty. A patriot can be trusted with the monetary assets of the country, known for honesty and integrity. A patriot will possess self-discipline and embody in their character ethical and spiritual values. A patriot will have appreciation for the government and respect the rights of others. Wow. This is filial piety toward the nation. So in summary, we've talked about 2 fundamental, absolute, unchanging principles. Not attributes of goodness, the principles of goodness, not attributes of love, the essence of true love. Live for the sake of others. That's the mind and body. And the second one, honor marriage. It begins in honor marriage, and it expands to the family. And these 2 principles are learned, experienced, imbibed in our character when we have loving, healthy families. This is our job. The mind and body is the pillar. It must be straight and strong. The beam, husband and wife relationship. And the beam is carried by the pillar. Look at the building. The pillar holds the beam, the weight of the beam. So which is more important? Clearly. These two principles are like diamond and gold. Absolute, unchanging, never tarnish, never rust, never scratch. If we develop a youth movement under the SK or the NYC or the YSP of young people that embody these characteristics, we can change the destiny of this nation together. Going back to our original question, what is good character? Let's answer it. Living by God's two universal principles, thereby making them part of your character and our culture. That's what it means to be good. Take the principles of God and bring them into our character. And we have to do that. No one else can do it for us. Our parents can't do, religious leaders can't do, teachers can't do. Teachers will teach, religious leaders will pray, and your parents will worry to death. But you have to do it. Your responsibility. Wow, it's a big task. So in conclusion, family building is nation building. What is nation building? The second part of our theme today. Youth of character for nation building. Prepare yourselves to build strong families. Don't just prepare yourself for a vocation, an occupation, a good job. Yes, you need that. More important, prepare yourself to be a good parent. Father Moon said this: the peaceful family is the building block of the kingdom of heaven. Let me go back to our exercise in the beginning, and now this is your homework. You wrote a word that had the attribute of good character that wasn't one of the 5 listed in the definition at the very beginning. Now, what I want you to do, describe the character or personality trait that you thought was good, that wasn't mentioned, in terms of living for the sake of others. For example, you may think, well, someone of good character is grateful. Okay, well, what does it mean to be grateful? It means to acknowledge the goodness that other people have done, and I benefit from that. To acknowledge what they have done, my parents, what my teachers, the benefits of the society, for example. And then things will become crystal clear. I've enjoyed being with you virtually, and I look forward to interaction, possibly later, or more education. Mabuhay, salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. You can also turn on the notification bell to be notified for the upcoming videos. Join us for more adventures.